Hello friends, this is Harsh. Once again I am with you with a new video lecture. In past video lectures we consider all the primary data types provided by C language. Today we consider variables. The name variable consists of two separate words, vary and able. Vary means can change its value, and able means to do so. That means variable is a name that contain some value in it and can be able to change its value during the execution of the program. If I say A is a variable of type integer, that means A can contain certain integer values. Somewhere A can contain value 0. After some time it can be 1, it can be -1, it can be 10, or can be any kind of value during the execution of the program. So the conclusion here is variables are named variables from which we can deal with values that is stored in the memory. That means variable can hold memory location by which we can access those values so that we can manipulate them in our program. Now the question here is, what should be a variable name? There are certain variable naming conventions which must have to be followed in C programming language. Those rules are known by variable naming conventions. Variable naming conventions. The rules. The rule number 1. Variable name must start with a letter. The rule number 1 first is variable name must start with a letter. Rule number 2, variable name can be start with underscore, that is this kind of symbol, this kind of character. Variable name cannot be start with a number or digit, but a digit can be followed by a letter in a variable name. Rule number 4, white space not allowed in variable name. Number 5, variable name should be short and meaningful. Rule number 6, at least 8 character long name can be used. Rule number 7, C is case sensitive language. So now we consider these rules. Rule number 1 says variable name must start with a letter. That means we have alphabets from A to Z and capital A to capital Z. So we can have a variable name like A. We can have a variable name like AB. We can have variable like ABC, etc., etc., etc. So variable name can be start with a letter. Rule number 2, variable name can be start with a underscore, like underscore cell can be a valid variable name. Rule number 3, variable name cannot start with a number, like first salary is invalid variable name, but a digit or number can be followed by a character, like salary first or week first are valid variable names. Rule number 4, white space not allowed in variable names. Like if I have to use my first salary as a variable name, that is invalid. So what we can do, we can concatenate these variable name with a underscore, with a character underscore. So now this invalid variable name become valid variable name. My first salary is a total variable name without any kind of white space. Rule number 5, variable name should be short and meaningful. Like if I have to manage the ages of the student, so I can use variable like age, that is meaningful, or we can use stu underscore age, student age, that is short and that is meaningful too. We can assume by the name itself that whatever it stores in it. 6th rule says at least 8 characters long name can be used. Mostly the compilers uses or treated first 8 letters of the variable names, mostly. So a programming approach says that if you are a good programmer, you have to use 8 character long variable. If there is a kind of variable which is 8 character, more than 8 character long, you can use the underscore to concatenate that variable names. Rule number 7 says C is case sensitive language. Case sensitive means if I am using a variable as total and somewhere I am using a variable name like total, and I can use a variable like total. So these three kind of variables are treated differently. The total, if calls, that means another value is treated. If this total is called, then another value is treated. So what I'm going to say that if we are taking three variables in our program, that means three different kind of values can be stored in memory. Rule number 8. Special characters cannot be used in variable name. Special characters like dot operator, like dollar symbol, like hash, like @ and so on. There are many kind of special characters in our provided in keyboard. We can use it, but we cannot use them as a variable name. The variable naming convention says that. Rule number 9. Rule number 8 says special characters cannot be used in the variable name, and rule number 9 says that a variable name cannot be a keyword. A variable name cannot be a keyword. Now, a different kind of word here we listen, that keyword. It is a new word for us. Keyword. Keyword. Keyword are those reserved words used for C programming languages like printf, float, integer, etc., etc., etc. We cannot use them as a variable name. So these are variable naming conventions which we have to follow during the program. I hope you enjoyed this class a lot and you become more familiar with the variable and variable naming conventions. That's all for this class. I hope you will enjoy a lot, and please don't forget to subscribe my channel.